What's up, everybody? This is the PlayStation Lifestyle Underground Podcast. I am Hugo Stiglitz. You can find me on PSN as Hugo Stiglitz _420, and I'm with two other guys today. You guys want to say hi?
Yeah, sure. I'm Steve Bitto, community manager for PlayStation Lifestyle. You can find me on the forums as Steven Bitto, and you can find me on PlayStation Network as TYLERxDURDEN.
And hey, I'm Juan Ibarra. You can find me on PSN as JakMan1997. I'm on the forums occasionally as John Ibarra, and that's me.
Awesome. It's been, I think, maybe a couple weeks since we've done a podcast, so I'm going to do my best to remember the games I've been playing. Definitely been playing a lot of Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. I completed the first one. I also completed Murasaki Baby on the PS Vita, which was actually surprisingly good, I thought. I completed Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. Also been playing, Project Cars like usual, Metal Gear Solid 5. Did try some of the Metal Gear Online. I, over the weekend, played a little Battlefront beta. I'll talk about that later. Also been getting a little bit back into PC. Some of my PC racing games. Assetto Corsa, they put out a DLC pack, and I've been having tons of fun with that. Also even been getting back into iRacing, which I haven't played in a while, but is a very, very good online racing game. Pretty much the best there is as far as like the actual online racing, I'd say. But yeah, other than that, I played a little Golden Abyss on the Vita and Resident Evil Revelations 2. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I can remember for now. What have you guys been playing lately?
I just went on a trip down south to New Orleans, so I haven't been playing a whole lot. But before I left, I played a little The Evil Within. When I got stuck on there, I actually started playing Stick of Truth again, South Park, and I'm going for the platinum now.
Cool.
And that's about it.
Alright. Well, I've been playing a lot of The Evil Within. Really spooky. Kind of scares me a little bit. Hard to play at night, but it's alright. Then I've been playing a lot of Metal Gear Online. That's crazy fun. I'm enjoying that a lot. And then some Super Meat Boy, which is the free PS Plus game this month. I'm having some fun with that. And then some random Spelunky sessions here and there. Other than that, that's about it.
Cool. And I don't know how I forgot, but Soma, I started and completed Soma since the last time we had a podcast, and I absolutely loved it. It was so good. Definitely. I might even replay it. I really enjoyed it. It was like one of the more surprising games to me that I've played since Metro 2033, which I'm sure I've mentioned before is one of my favorite games ever. It's in a long time, and Soma is almost on that level as far as surprising me at how interesting and good the story was and stuff. So it's a really, really cool game, and definitely glad I bought it, because I was a little on the fence about it when I saw the price. But okay, on to our news story for the week. We wanted to discuss the Battlefront beta a little bit. I did get get a chance to play it quite a bit. Played a lot with my friends. Also played on my own a little bit. It was kind of shallow on content. It does kind of seem like the game won't be much different, but it literally only had 3 modes. It had a survival mode, which you could do co-op or alone, which wasn't too bad. I thought it was actually all right. Thought it would have been a little better if there was some story to it, make it a little more interesting, but overall it was pretty decent. There was Drop Zone, which is kind of like basically these drop pods fall out of the sky. 16 players, not 40 like the big modes, and you run up to it, you activate it for your team, and then you can either stay there and try to defend it or leave. And hopefully the other team doesn't activate it, and whoever had it activated for the longest time. Typical way how a lot of multiplayer game modes go. I personally didn't enjoy that mode too much. But also Walker Assault, which could be quite a bit of fun, like especially if you manage to find the Jedi power up. I got to play as Luke Skywalker, and that was a blast. But otherwise, playing as the Rebel side was pretty miserable because you lose every single time. Like I didn't see a single time where the Rebel side even took down one of the walkers. Not even close to getting both of them. But I didn't even see him take down one of them. So yeah, they admitted that it's hugely imbalanced and they're gonna try to fix it. But overall, I wasn't super happy with it. I mean, visually, the graphics aren't perfect. Because it's only 900p. There's definitely a lot of blur on anything in the distance. But the actual look of like the Star Wars it looks like Star Wars, 100%. It sounds like Star Wars. DICE has always been amazing when it comes to sounds, and it hasn't. Nothing has changed. This game sounds exactly like Star Wars, and so there are some good things in it, but overall, like I think it, I was never gonna buy it for $60 anyways. But I'm not too psyched about it, even if it was only like $20. I'm not sure if I'd get it. You played it a little bit, Juan. What did you think?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I did prefer Walker Assault. Drop Zone wasn't that great. It was I liked Drop Zone for what it was, like a small game mode with very like confined spaces, and it was nice. But I enjoyed it, and actually I had never seen Star Wars until a few months ago. I just never interested in me, never watched it, and then I bought them on Blu-ray, which I've heard isn't the best version of them, but I'm watching them. So I watched the first one, I'd say like 2 months ago, or like a month and a half ago. But I watched Empire Strikes Back like 2 weeks ago, and then I played the Battlefront beta, and I let me tell you, it's like I was it was like I was in the movie. The presentation is crazy good. Like it's so good. Like I felt like I was on Hoth during that battle.
Especially Hoth.
Yeah, it's great, and that's the best thing going for Battlefront right now. It is Star Wars, but other than that, I'd say it was a little shallow. It was it was very simple, but personally, I like that. Then again, I'm not big on multiplayer games, so I'm not really the audience here. Like I would never pay $60 for a multiplayer only title.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I'm liking Star Wars. Not liking Battlefront too much because it's only multiplayer. But I'm looking forward to any single player Star Wars games that are coming out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'm kind of stuck on it because I didn't have a chance to play the beta. I was out of town, but I am a huge Star Wars fan, like a giant Star Wars fan. But I'm not a fan of multiplayer games, and I rarely play multiplayer like at all anymore, unless it's like for fun, like Rocket League or something like that. First-person shooters is just not something I really get into too much anymore. Outside of maybe Conquest, I played a little of on Battlefield 4, but I'm just totally conflicted of whether or not I want to buy this game or not. Because I love Star Wars, but I will not play it that much.
Yeah, it does seem like it'll be a tough choice to make for people like like you that are really huge Star Wars fans. I mean, I am too. Like I grew up watching it. I must have watched the Star Wars movies when I was like hundreds of times when I was a kid. Or maybe that's an exaggeration, but yeah, I've always been a huge fan of Star Wars and Star Wars games too. Like I haven't played a ton of them, but like the ones I have played, I absolutely loved and are still some of my favorites. And I do actually like multiplayer games, but still, it's just kind of a tough sell on me, just because I've always been very against multiplayer-only games, or mostly multiplayer. In this case, there are actually some offline single-player stuff, but it's just like the survival type stuff, so it's very, very limited in that capacity. So to me, it just doesn't seem like a super valuable package in more ways than one. Like, it definitely gives me a Titanfall vibe. Like, I feel like, the whole fact that it's very, very shallow, but has a ton of hype around it, it definitely reminds me of that. The only thing I think that is helping it more than Titanfall is the fact that it's Star Wars, which is a massive IP, and there are going to be tons of people buying it just because it's Star Wars. So I'm just a little disappointed because I think DICE could have really, really done a great job if they took their time, but that's just how EA is, kind of like they'd rather just rush out stuff than actually really take their time to make the best game possible. Which is a shame because I think the past two Battlefield, well, not Hardline, but Battlefield 4 and 3, I thought were absolutely fantastic, other than the launch problems. But yeah, it's just a shame to see them not really stretching their legs as much as they could, because it's still the same developer cycle. I think they do a game every 2 years. The big DICE does, at least. But it just seems like this one is way more, compressed, way more rushed. Well, maybe not as rushed as Battlefield 4 was at launch, because you guys probably heard all the issues. But actually, I've heard that from people that the current build has a lot of the same problems. So who knows what we'll see when it actually does launch? But I'm sure it'll sell well, even with the big competition like Fallout and Black Ops 3. But yeah, personally, I hope they next time a Star Wars game comes out, they do a little better and include a single player, of course. It's must have, I think. Not too keen on any multiplayer only games, unless they're only like $15.
Yeah, if they're cheap, then the price is justified.
Yeah, like that's how it used to be. Like last generation, Battlefield 1943 was only like $10 or $15, and I played the hell out of it.
Game. I like that game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think even like Warhawk, when it launched, I think it was $60, but that's was packaged with a headset, right?
Yeah.
And actually, SOCOM Confrontation was the same thing.
Didn't Warhawk have some single player stuff though, or like a story?
No.
It had a tutorial.
Oh, really?
It was supposed to, and that was like when they showed stuff early on, like developer diaries.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they were like aiming for, just having like a bunch of different fighters on the screen at the same time. But I think eventually they ended up foregoing that, and it was just online only.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yep.
Which was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
I loved Warhawk. Warhawk was great. Good.
Yeah, I never got to try it beyond the demo that was on PSN Store.
Yeah.
I do have Starhawk. Played the campaign, and then tried to get into the multiplayer. Oh, I just got destroyed.
That was crazy diverse. I enjoyed the multiplayer from what I played.
Yeah, like that's why I wanted to get it. Is it seemed incredible. Like there's so much you could do. But it's like I got it so many months after it came out, and I just could not get a grasp on it. Like I was just getting annihilated. Like I've never been before. Like I've played a lot of multiplayer games, and usually I can pick them up and be good almost right away. I can't even be bad in this game. Like I'm just terrible no matter what I do. Like
yeah, that was like
funny.
in Warhawk too.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, by the time that I started playing, which is like, oh man, a few good years after the game came out, it was only pros playing on that, and I would get demolished every single time. But I had fun doing it. Great game. It was Warhawk.
That's what it seemed like to me when I did actually try to play it. It's a shame because because the gameplay really seemed pretty good. Yeah, our topic for the week is we also wanted to discuss DLC and online passes. I'm sorry, not online passes, season passes. One of the reasons we brought it up is because it was announced that Battlefront will have a $50 season pass. I assume it's going to be a lot like Battlefield Premium, which has been $50. There are usually, I think, 4 or 5. I think actually it's 5 DLC packs, and each one has 4 maps in it. And Battlefield maps are as usual, quite substantial. I'm not sure how Battlefront will be because it seems like certain maps are only for certain modes, like the Hoth map that's only for Walker Assault. Hopefully they have some different Hoth maps because like we mentioned before, by far the best part of the beta is just the Hoth, like just the way it looked and stuff. Like so it would be a shame if that was the only one. But yeah, it does seem like kind of crazy that it's a $60 multiplayer only game, so it's already kind of like a half a game. But then they're also tacking on a $50 season pass, and understandably, I think it was you, Steven, that voiced some concern about that. Overall, though, like, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so like we were kind of just talking about the concerns about it, and for me, it's you get a $60 game, right? And this seems like one of the scenarios, and I usually am 100% against people being up in arms every time a season pass is announced, which they always are. Like, everyone is always all mad about it, saying that they're keeping stuff out of the main game for DLC at a later date. This time, I can't see any way EA could argue otherwise. This seems like it's going to be a pretty limited $60 package. Like, I feel like we've seen or at least heard almost everything that's going to be on that disc. And to say you have $50 more content already planned, that seems pretty backhanded to me.
Yeah, like, I do understand that they do do a lot of planning for DLC ahead of time, but it just sends the wrong message to consumers, I think. Like, saying that, before the game, months before the game's even out, like saying that, oh, we have all our DLC planned and here's what will be in it. It's like, it is kind of understandable that a lot of people say, oh, it was cut from the main game, which is, most of the time it's actually not true. Like, I think a lot of the times they've only begun work on the DLCs, especially this generation, because it seems like developers are having to really, go into crunch time to get their games done. So I think basically the only way they could include all that DLC in the game is if they delayed. But at the same time, like, it is kind of annoying to see them announcing stuff when the game isn't even out, and it's like, obviously the stuff could have been in the main game if they just delayed it.
Yeah, and like, so far, I mean, how many maps do we know of? The 4 or 5? Like, planets?
In the main game?
Yeah.
Oh, planets, I think there's only 4 or 5, yeah.
So, like you said, like, there's usually 4 new ones per pack. Even if it's 2, and there's 4 sets, right? There, 4 waves.
Oh, I think it's actually 5.
5. So
or at least
right
it was for premium. They could be doing something different for Battlefront, though.
So, like, either way, there's going to be more, and they said there's going to be planets, so there's going to be more in the DLC than there is in the actual $60 game.
Yeah.
And especially because it's online only, too, because, like, with Uncharted, Uncharted 4, they announced they're going to have these chapters, right, similar to Left Behind from The Last of Us. And, with that, something that's not essential to the story but fills in gaps for people who want the gaps filled in, I totally understand that. And I'm glad they announced it ahead of time, actually, because that lets you know that even though you're just getting a story, a story game, there's going to be reasons to go back to it down the road. Like...
Yeah, that's true. That is good to know for some people, because I do hear quite a bit of people, saying, "Oh, I wish I didn't trade it in. If I knew that they were going to do story DLC, I wouldn't have, like this and that." So yeah, no, I definitely see your point there. It is definitely relevant information for people to have. At the same time, though, like, I do understand how some people could be concerned with the fact that, it's kind of sending the wrong message, basically. Like, people are concerned that, they could be cutting that stuff out of the game. But like you said, if it's completely unrelated, then I don't see how people could be too upset about it. Overall, I actually tend to like DLC when it's done right. But there are plenty examples of it done wrong. Microtransactions are definitely one, and actually even Naughty Dog is guilty of that with The Last of Us multiplayer. It's like it's almost pay to win because there are perks and weapons that you have to buy. Even though like the PS4 version supposedly has the season pass and stuff, and even if you had the season pass on PS3, you still like have to pay for those certain perks and weapons. So I think it's kind of messed up. I think they did a lot of the same stuff with Uncharted 3's multiplayer.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's kind of funny how like Naughty Dog gets a complete pass on it almost, but it's because they make incredible games, so it's kind of understandable. But it is like seem like it's this generation has become a generation of the season pass and of the DLC. Like in some ways I think it's a good thing, but other ways it can does kind of seem like they're trying to squeeze every penny they can out of us.
Yeah. An example I was thinking of about these season passes was for Batman, how it was $40, I believe, and there was no mention of what was in it. It was $40, and then once they announced what it was in it, people were like, "Oh, okay, I can get behind this," but they were still kind of wary. Looking back on it, what they said it was going to be was like challenge maps and story DLC and stuff. The thing is, the story DLC has come out. Several story DLCs have come out.
Mm-hmm.
And the only one that we got that was long-ish was Batgirl. And that was like an hour. And then we had other ones that are like 20 minutes or so. And that's just and it's like, and it's like, I remember the description. It was like play as different characters after the main game. And yeah, the Nightwing DLC takes place after the main game, but but easily you could play that and you wouldn't even know it's after the main game, besides like a few plot points. But they're not. It's not anything intensive. It's not anything like the Arkham City DLC, which was like the Harley Quinn's Revenge, which is very like it's very spoiler territory to that game. Like it's just like it goes all in with talking about the main game and what happened. And I think that people wanted that, and they've gotten the exact opposite. And so I'm kind of glad that I didn't buy this $40 season pass for my favorite series of all time. No, not of all time, but like one of my favorite series. And you see, like all it is now, it's just skins for the car, skins for characters, and playing as different characters. It's just it's not really anything necessary that would be substantial or worth $40.
Yeah,
it just feels a little cheap sometimes, I guess.
Yeah, I agree, and it's funny because like I think that the individual packs have actually been pretty fairly priced. Like the Batmobile DLCs, it's only $2 each, and they give you
it's
two
it's
awesome...
well priced like individually, but like as a whole, paying $40 for it, I would feel like I was cheated out of it. Yeah,
definitely. It's kind of funny how it is that way, but I don't know. Hopefully they have more planned. Like hopefully they have something like big planned. I mean, it's almost kind of the opposite of what Dying Light is doing, where they're practically releasing a whole entire other game. And it's going to be free for people with the season pass, and they've done quite good on the DLC so far as I know. I am getting the game next week, but I haven't actually got it yet. But I've heard great things about the DLC, and then the following especially it's pretty awesome. They're trying to give back to the community because Dying Light, I think as we mentioned, it sold way better than they expected. A lot of that was because it came out in January, and so they had a ton of success. And I think it's really cool that they used some of that to put back into the game to give back to the community, which is kind of a rare thing. You don't see it too often in the industry. So it's nice when it does happen. But I think like a lot of things, DLC and season passes it can be good and bad. It just depends on what the developer decides to do. I think in my opinion, one of the worst examples of DLC is probably Destiny. I forget how much exactly it is to get all of Destiny's DLC. If you bought the game day one, but I know the first two expansions were $20. Then this newest one, whatever, it's the Taken King or whatever, is it $40 if you already own the game, or is it even more than that? I'm not. Do you guys know?
So here is the part where my PS4 froze, and they didn't know what happened to me. So enjoy.
Well, like I was saying, like the story stuff, I can understand if they're up front. The Batman stuff sounds like they weren't really up front with it. You know?
Nope.
Kind of misled the fans on that. The multiplayer only ones are the only ones that really, really bother me.
Yeah.
Because you really don't know the size of how much you're missing out on by getting the main game and not getting everything after. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know kind of how to quantify like your dollars spent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cause if it's single player, then you can correlate like through hours or through like actual gameplay of what you like substance of it. And then if you have multiplayer only, I'm guessing you mean like you don't know how to put it into a certain
right.
Put it into words in your mind, like so that way it'll like make sense. It'll justify the cost for the DLC,
right?
The online DLC.
Exactly. So like, yeah. So like, what if they give you like new planets, but they're not ones that anyone wants? Or what if they're the only ones anyone wants? You know?
Yeah.
But you got the season pass, so now you have to pay $50 for all this content when no one's gonna play it. You know?
Yeah, and then you're like, and you're paying all that money, and then you don't know if that's what you want. Like you're just sort of. Yeah, exactly. But like with single player DLC, maybe you don't want it, but it's there, and it has a purpose.
Right.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I mean the DLC has always been. I don't know. I've paid for some DLC, but usually it's all story. I don't think I paid for anything that's just online stuff.
I bought all the maps for SOCOM Confrontation. But that was like a really substantial like 4 map pack thing. Like it was the only map pack for the game. You know, it was an expansion with new guns. They got the thermal scopes. It's called the Cold Front, I think, edition. So it had like all the cold maps from some of the old games and some new cold maps, and then like I said, like guns. It had like new camo and stuff. So that was all like really cool. But it was like it was an actual expansion to the game, and they didn't. It was clearly not supposed to be part of the main game, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel with Star Wars, anything they keep out is going to be like, why wasn't this in the game? Like, it's just a planet that everyone wants, you know?
Yeah, because like everyone was asking for it. Why wasn't it already in it in the first place? I got you. Yeah. Multiplayer DLC is a little hard. I remember I bought like, speaking of Warhawk, actually, I bought one DLC pack for that. It was like $7 or so. But it gave you, like, all these new modes, all these new maps. It gave you a jetpack, which was new to the series. And, I don't know, it felt different. It felt special for that one, because, like, the maps in the actual pack, it was like a pack of, like, a lot of things at once. Like, you know, I feel like nowadays that would be split into separate things, like, only certain maps for like this one DLC, and then like the jetpack's its own thing, and then the game modes are its own thing. But like I think in the past it's been done correctly, where it's huge, like it's like a lot of it's like a pack. It's like a pack of different things, like a just all in one on a smaller scale. It's like a season pass, but on a smaller scale, and you're not paying in the beginning for something you don't get immediately.
Right. Especially for something that isn't detailed.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, oh, you know, hopefully it's like, Especially with Battlefront. The game's not even out yet.
Yep.
So how do you know you're gonna enjoy the game? Like, oh, I played a few hours of the beta. That's not really. You don't know what you're getting into there. It's like, oh, I'm gonna buy the DLC. I'm gonna spend $111. No, $110 at least on this game that I don't even have yet. It just seems a little ridiculous. But on the other side of that, I do like a DLC that's smaller, such as like micro. Okay, I like microtransactions. I was gonna bring that up earlier. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, I like them because if they're done correctly, they seem very inviting and they're nice. And if you want that, you pay for it. It's like, hey, it's like costumes. Like MGO has costumes for your character, and they're like classic costumes from like older games. And it seems nice. Like I like that. But I mean, and at the same time, there's also like hats and stuff, which is like ridiculous. People make jokes about it, like, "Oh, you're buying hats," but I like that. Like I like the things that add a personality that only cost you like $1 or so. It's just $1, so I mean, I don't mind.
Right. See, I don't have a big problem with microtransactions, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is that what you're?
Have you ever paid for anything?
Yeah, I think I have. I bought, crap. I think I bought, like, some skins for something before.
Yeah, exactly. Like, skins are, like, really, like, it's like, it adds personality to it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want it, you get it for, like, $1, so it seems nice. Like, it doesn't seem very, like, intruding,
and I feel
as
like
it does in other games.
I feel like they're so simple and like easy that you can offer stuff for everybody without everyone having to buy everything.
Yeah, like a good example of this would be Destiny. Destiny. Did you hear about their microtransaction model?
I did read about it, but I didn't read what it kind of entailed.
The thing is, I think it said that they're gonna try to be releasing more free content, while I'm not sure what that entails. Like, what if it's like whole packs, which I doubt it. I'm pretty sure we're still gonna get expansions and stuff for a good price, like $40, whatever it is. But they're only going to they're adding a new currency. It's called silver, and you can use that to pay for like emotes, like for your character to like dance and stuff, or wave, or do certain things. It's not anything gameplay wise. It's just for how your character presents himself or herself.
Right. You see, I like that. I think like it's really easy for them to develop, probably, and
yeah,
it doesn't force everyone to need stuff. Like you just customize your guy the way you want for cheap.
Exactly, and it appears we have him back now. Seems as though his PS4 froze.
Alright, sorry. I just had to unplug my mic and plug it in. Yeah, my PS4 hard froze. I had to unplug the power to get it to restart.
Well, that's alright. You're
annoying.
You're
but
back now.
As you were saying, like the whole personalization thing with Destiny, or I guess you could call it that. With like the Carlton dance and like the different poses that you can do, I agree that stuff is kind of cool. Like it reminds me of the humiliation moves in Killzone. In Killzone, if you win a match and you're the top scorer on the team, you get to do any number of different like type of humiliations to the best player on the other team. It's like the one I used a lot was the teabag. There were others, it's just really, I think that type of stuff is fun. I think it's cool to add, and it's like, it's cheap, so it's like, I don't see why people were making such a big deal about that, Destiny adding that.
Yeah.
Although at the same time, I do kind of understand it, because Destiny kind of already has, just charged so much money for their DLCs. But this is just minor stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's not anything that will like lock out players from certain sections, or it won't change the way you play the game or anything. It's just standard personalization. That's all it is.
Yeah, like Call of Duty has done it before with like their camos and stuff. Killzone, like I mentioned. So I don't think that is such a huge deal, but personally, I think the whole idea of locking players out of certain parts of the game, it's not something I'm a fan of, which is what I really liked about Killzone strategy, which was to, add all those little DLCs, and also they added a co-op DLC, but any maps that get added to the game for multiplayer or co-op were all free, and they added a bunch of them.
Nice.
And it's like that way, the community never gets separated, which I think is really, really important, because it's like sometimes a DLC is not worth a penny if no one is playing on them. Like, you could spend money on a DLC, and if it's not like a super popular game like Call of Duty, it's like you could end up wasting that money, which is what I think happened to anyone that bought the DLCs for Crysis 3's multiplayer. Like, that game was already kind of dying as it was. Like, barely any players, but like the DLC had like no one, like and it's like I felt bad for those people, because they saw that the map was actually from Crysis 1, which I thought was super cool, because I was a huge fan of Crysis 1, but I just knew that there was gonna be no players on that, and there wasn't, like so yeah, like it's a shame when that sort of stuff happens in general, just like having a multiplayer game that doesn't have people playing it, but so like I was saying, Killzone, that was a very good thing to do, releasing free maps. I'm trying to remember if there are other games that have done it. I think there are, but I would love to see more of that going forward, like, because I think it is really key to not separate. Yeah. Also Drive Club, they all the new tracks they added were free. Not for the PS Plus version, but they did add like the whole location, Japan. That was all free.
Yeah, that's
extra
nice.
add-on
I
tracks.
like that.
So I think, because it is really, really good to not have to worry about that stuff when you go online. So although it might work for Call of Duty, because there's just so many people play that game in general, and even if a small percentage of people buy it, there's still most likely going to always be people playing on that stuff, except for maybe some of the older cards. But it is kind of cool to see developers giving free DLC when it's necessary, and then finding some other way to make up the money. Not all developers do that, but yeah, overall I thought also the season pass, since we're talking about season passes from Drive Club, is probably the best I've bought. What do you guys have as far as like really good DLC experiences? I'd also like to throw BioShock Infinite out there. Baylor at Sea was incredible.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Did you guys get to play any of the Mass Effect DLCs or Fallout? Because I heard those were really, really good DLCs.
You know what? I think I have.
What do you guys got?
I don't know if I have all the Mass Effect DLCs, but I don't know if I played any of them, actually. Yeah, which ones? Which ones were on number 3?
Oh, I'm not sure. All I know is that if you ask people what the best DLC ever is, almost everybody says Lair of the Shadow Broker.
Oh,
from
I
Mass
did.
Effect
Yeah, I got that one free because I got
the PS3 version.
Yeah, the PS3 version. So I got that, and then the other one. I can't remember what the other one was. But the Shadow Broker one was awesome. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it just continues to remind me why I have to play Mass Effect finally. But
it's funny. As soon as you mentioned that, I was just thinking like I really have to go back and platinum 2 and 3. They're hard. They're hard platinums.
That must be a lot of work.
It
though,
is.
Right?
It's a ton of work, but it's worth it. I love the music. I love everything about Mass Effect. I'd love to go back and play those again.
One day I got to play those for the first time.
Oh man, you're missing.
Yeah.
1 is tough. 1 is rough around the edges for sure, but 2 and 3 are fantastic.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of hoping that they do like a proper remastering of the whole series. Like, and maybe it'll be kind of like how the Nathan Drake collection has been, where one got the most work put into it and most changes, like as far as to like the improve the gameplay and
Yeah.
stuff. I would love to see them do that with Mass Effect. It's like, although we do have plenty of remasters, and I could always play it on PC. It's just that it would be nice to also see the gameplay improvements. Much like Uncharted and Metro Redux as well, where they go back to the first one and try to do their best to improve the gameplay, bring it more in line with the rest of the series, which could really be awesome for first-time players like me and
Right.
Juan.
Despite all the rumors, I'm pretty sure they said they're not doing one.
Yeah. I read
Yeah.
that a while back, but I'm still holding out hope.
There definitely were rumors, and they are owned by EA, right?
Yeah.
No, is BioWare owned by EA?
So I wouldn't be.
Or do they just publish the...
Yeah.
Are they owned, or do they just publish those games?
I thought I could have swore that they were owned by them, but
Well, then wouldn't the Mass Effect IP be owned by EA, at least?
it might. Yeah, it very well might be. Like, because I was gonna say that if EA does own it, I would not be at all surprised to see EA go and do, have Bluepoint do like a collection. Just because EA would definitely love the money from the remastered collection. So even if BioWare personally doesn't want to do it, I could see EA making it. Making sure it gets
Right.
done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think DLC is a really cool thing though. Like, cause if you compare it to like maybe just the PS2 generation, it didn't exist. Like, I think actually one of the first like real DLCs was Half-Life 2, episode 1 and 2, which that's personally one of my favorite DLCs ever as well. It made me like the main game a whole lot more. That's how good it was. So like, it is kind of cool that like we have the possibility of getting a ton of extra content after a game has already come out.
Yeah, it's neat.
Especially personally, I love it for racing games, especially because I'm kind of like a sucker for that type of content. Like, if I see like a new car, it's like I always have to have it. Like, I'm weird like that, but it's like it's good and bad, like most things. Like a lot of different issues. It's like sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I have like heard that The Witcher 3 is done really great as far as DLC. Like, they've released quite a lot of free content, and their DLC content has been quite substantial. I think the same thing is going to happen with Bloodborne. The Old Hunters is supposedly 2 DLCs into one, and I think they're known for being pretty good DLCs as far as like the Soul series go. So it seems like there are some developers that set themselves apart from the rest as far as DLC. Like we mentioned, Techland before with Dying Light. With The Witcher 3. And then there are others that try to give you as little as possible for the most money possible, and it's a shame, but it's just another case of people really need to just vote with their wallets.
Yeah, it's very cheap sometimes.
Yeah, I think the main thing with these season passes is people just need to wait and buy what is good. Like,
Don't
demand
buy the stuff that's bad.
right, demand quality for your money instead of throwing it at them without knowing what you're getting. It's kind of, I don't know, self-explanatory in most cases.
Yeah, but it's just hard sometimes for people that are like, oh, that it's like dangling right in front of me that I'll get it, and and I mean before I believe if I'm not mistaken, the original season passes, the first couple that were made whenever it was a new thing, they ended like after a certain point. You couldn't get them anymore. Am I correct on that?
I don't remember. I never really purchased them, so
like,
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I feel like if the point is like it seems a little cheap to have them. I don't know. I don't remember if it was like if you buy it early, if you buy the season pass early, then you get the DLC cheaper. But then nowadays it's like they have it open like the whole time, like you can buy it whenever, and I don't know, it's like that's more enticing. It's like, oh, I saw one piece of DLC, now I'm gonna buy the whole season pass, and then it's like, okay, for example, the Batman DLC, the first DLC they ever released was Batgirl, and that one was pretty. It was like an hour and a half to 2 hours or so. Now say, a fan sees that like, oh, the Batgirl DLC, that's the first one they released. It looks really good. I'm sure the rest of the DLC is going to be just as good, and it hasn't. So it feels a little cheap to keep it open. Like, hey, the first one was good. They're going to keep buying it. Like after the first DLC comes out, they'll get a lot of people purchasing their season pass.
What was like the first season pass? When did they start doing that? Was that Call of Duty?
I don't think so. It was something else. If I remember correctly. I have to go back and look at it, but I don't remember.
I'll try to Google it.
Yeah. It might have been Call of Duty.
Like, I know that COD 4 did have, like, a map or two, but, like, I don't even think... Yeah, even Modern Warfare 2 didn't have season passes. So, yeah, like, I'm wondering what the first one was, you know, like, whenever that whole trend started. I mean, I think, you know, at first it was a way for them to make more money. Also, you know, a way for people to just bundle things together and save a little bit of money as far as, like, the customers. But yeah, like, it definitely has changed. You know, and sometimes, like, huge games like Destiny don't even have season passes because, you know, they want to keep it going so long that, DLC going so long that they really can't put it down for a flat fee, or at least they just don't want to.
So I looked it up, and it says here that the business model was, and this is wiki, actually Giant Bomb. The business model, the business model is first seen in 2011 with LA Noir's Rockstar Pass, which granted access to 4 new missions, 2 new outfits, and a badge pursuit challenge mode. And I do remember that actually.
Yeah, that's what I just turned up to. Trying to search. They also mentioned Mortal Kombat also had a season pass. So it came out the same year. So it's kind of surprising, but it seems that the first season pass was 2011, which I would have thought it would have been before that. But I guess not. So I guess that means Uncharted 2 didn't have a season pass. I thought I remember it did, but I'm wrong.
No, I think that Uncharted 3 had one for sure.
Yeah.
Uncharted 2, I think that they just released DLC individually, like just randomly.
Yeah.
That DLC was good too. I like a DLC.
The Heroes DLC, did you get where you could make your
great.
character in the multiplayer as Cole or the Chimera? Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I remember I hardly even played Uncharted 2's multiplayer, but I was like, oh, I have to have this DLC, and it's like it made me play the game more because I just thought it was cool.
Actually,
but
go ahead.
All right. Now that we're on the topic of Uncharted 2, you see, I'm not sure if they're done with The Last of Us yet, but Naughty Dog has done this right. After 2 years or so, they give all the big DLC for free.
Yeah. They did with 3. I know that. Yeah.
3 they did, and 2 they did. The Last of Us, I don't think they have though.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Although for the PS4 version at least, they did release another map after it came out, and that was actually free. Like,
okay. Yeah,
that was
one
of the examples I was trying to remember.
Well, and when they re-released it on PS4, they did include Left Behind in the main game.
That's true. Mm-hmm. And also, I think a couple of the DLC packs in there too.
Right, I think you're right.
Yeah, like so, it kind of was like the PS3 season pass included, but then they added on a bunch more stuff after, and some of it was kind of like pay to win type, which is definitely a shame. But yeah, like I guess you kind of could justify it considering they did release that one map for free, for the PS4 version.
Yeah.
But I just don't like to see pay to win in a in a full price game. Like I totally understand the microtransactions, like some of the other stuff they have, but I wish they hadn't done like perks and weapons, because that directly affects the gameplay and your ability to
and it makes it
stuff. Because some of the perks were actually really good, and it's a shame that they did that. But hopefully it'll be less of that in Uncharted 4. Although they have pretty much confirmed that there will be microtransactions. But yeah, honestly, I cannot wait to play the Uncharted 4 beta.
December, right?
In other news, the Doom is going to be doing a closed alpha pretty soon as well.
Oh yeah, I read that too.
So that'll be fun. Yeah.
That was,
so anybody
like
that
a year and a half
Wolfenstein
ago.
did the beta code. Yeah. I wasn't even sure if I put my code in, but it did, luckily. So hopefully they send an invite. But also another thing that developers tend to do is standalone DLC, like Infamous Festival of Blood, Infamous First Light, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood.
So that's my favorite type.
I think that's definitely.
Yeah.
That's when you're getting
most
your
cases,
money's
I'd say,
worth.
yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
The old hunters for Bloodborne.
Yeah, almost always. I don't think that's a standalone.
Yeah, you might be right.
Is
It's like an expansion.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
but they're releasing
actually,
it.
I think you have to be at a certain level to access it.
I think you're right, actually.
So it's even
I
it's
think
even
you're
more
right.
locked.
Yeah, but typically standalone stuff is almost always good, like and worth the money.
Yeah, that has the substance to it.
Yeah, like Infamous First Light was really good. I think a lot of people said they liked it more than the main game.
Yeah, I definitely
Which is
liked her
kinda
as a
fun.
character more than Delson.
I'll have to go back and play that
Yeah.
because I never played it because I just didn't like the game Second Son, so I didn't care to play it. But I'll have to go back and see it.
No, yeah, the Neon Power is fun, especially with her. And then what do they call the battle room? What do they call that?
Oh, the arena.
Yeah, the arena mode, challenge
Yeah,
mode.
the battle arena. Yeah, that was really cool.
That was a lot of fun.
I did a lot of
Yeah,
that.
that's the only thing
just to
keeping
get
me
the
from the
platinum
platinum
and
there
stuff,
is you have to like rack up a ton of points. It was tough.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start to download
Yeah,
that right now. Try it out later.
Yeah, because it was free on PS Plus, so if you added it to your library, like
Yeah,
you always should.
Pretty sure I did.
yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they added that feature to the store, so that you can just add to the library instead of having to start the download and then cancel, which you used to have to do.
Also, I like this area for PS Plus because now I can go to it and all my PS Plus games are there. And look at that, Infamous First Light's on there. Let me download that.
Yeah, although the really annoying thing is that for the new PS Plus stuff, they still don't show any cross-buy stuff. They only show the two main PS4 ones. And it's like, that's crazy to me. It's like there are quite a bit of people that only have PS4, and they're probably not realizing how much they're getting their money's worth with PS Plus because they're not seeing all the cross-buy games unless they know, like if they see a article about the thing online, like, because otherwise it doesn't show it on the store at all, really. Like if you actually find the specific game, it'll say free and stuff, but otherwise they do no advertising to say that, hey, we also have these cross-buy games for PS4 as well. It's just weird. Like it's like, because I don't think it, like, once it's on PS Plus, I don't think it matters to them how many people download it, or at least I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, other than bandwidth, I mean, it might cost a little more as far as their fees, as far as just running servers and stuff. But otherwise, I don't see why they'd be so why they'd be kind of trying to hide it almost, like from the people that just that don't read articles and don't realize what games are coming off of PS Plus. But yeah, now we've gone off on a little tangent. All right, what you got? What do you guys have anything else to say about season passes?
No, just that people should definitely try to wait and see what they're getting for their money before they spend it. I mean, I think that's the problem right now, is that they're offering these things without even really telling you what you're going to get, and you don't know how good it's going to be, and then everyone's mad when someone announces the season pass, but the only reason why they announce it ahead of time is because people are going to buy it. So it's really just, speak with your wallet, buy things that are quality to you instead of just blindly throwing your money out there.
Definitely. I mean, there are very few games that I would buy a season pass without having any clue what's in it. And like even Uncharted, I'm not going to get the season pass until I know that it's worth the money.
Yeah.
Which is usually what I do with every game, but and I love Uncharted, but it's still just the way they've done with the microtransactions that we mentioned before. It's like I'm almost unsure if the season pass will end up being worth it, so I'm going to wait. Other games, I might just get it blindly, like I did with Killzone, and I don't regret it, although it wasn't the greatest season pass. It's just I just really love to support, certain developers. Guerrilla's one of them. So yeah, I guess that's about it. We'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening, everybody. We will see you next time.